Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Governance Committee meeting of the Orange County Funding Corporation. The time is 3:05, and we'd like to thank you for being here. I'd like to officially call the meeting to order, and Bill, would you mind doing a roll call?
Sure. Linda Muller.
Here.
Jeffrey Christ.
Here.
Dean Tambury.
Here.
Giovanni Palladino.
Here.
And Dr. Vincent Odock is absent. We have 4 or 5 members here. We also have Lee Benton, one of our board members, present. For staff, myself, Bill Fioravanti, Kelly Riley. We have Billy Iverson doing audio-visual. Our general counsel, Rudy Zoda, is here, and Brian Sandwich, our state monitor.
Thank you very much. Again, welcome, everyone. Proof of notice for the meeting was properly provided, and it was in our packet on page 2. I'd like to move to the minutes. Everyone should have had an opportunity to review those. I'd like to accept a motion to approve the minutes.
Also move.
Second?
I'll second.
Thank you very much. Any discussions, corrections necessary for the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor of accepting the minutes as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you very much. I don't think there's any real old business unless
There's
you've got
not.
something.
No.
This will be a quick meeting.
This is a quick one.
All right, so we have no old business. We have no new business to come before this committee, so I will accept a motion to adjourn.
Also move.
Okay, second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you very much. This meeting is officially closed. Next.
I wanted to have the quickest meeting.
No, it's
That was it.
That's gonna be tough to do.
3 minutes is tough to beat.
Goodness. We're good. All right, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Governance Committee meeting for the Orange County Industrial Development Agency. I'd like to welcome you all here, and I'd like to call the meeting to order. The time is 3:07, and I'd like Bill, if you could please do a roll call.
Sure. Linda Muller.
Here.
Jeffrey Christ.
Here.
Dean Tambury.
Here.
Giovanni Palladino.
Here.
Dr. Vincent Odock is absent, so 4 of 5 members are present. Also, board member Lee Benton is here. For staff, Bill Fioravanti and Kelly Riley, Billy Iverson on audio-visual, our general counsel Rudy Zoda, and state monitor Brian Sandwich.
Perfect, thank you very much, Bill, appreciate it. Proof of notice was properly provided, it was on page 2 of our packet, so thank you for that. Everyone should have had an opportunity to review the minutes. I would accept a motion to approve.
Proof.
Second,
Second.
thank you. Was there any discussion, corrections that need to be made to the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor of the minutes as presented being approved, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you. On to new business. So, Bill.
We could slow this down. We're going to be done in no time, so you're going to have a long coffee break. But thank you.
I like to run an efficient meeting. Thank you very much.
I do.
Yeah, I'll speak as slowly as I'm capable, which is not too slow. First of all, just a couple items in new business. First of all is our personnel policy. Thank you again to this committee for all the work you did on a dozen different policies last year. In addition to our personnel policy, it was a major revamp. We worked with our council very closely on that. After kind of executing that policy for a year, there's just one suggestion I'm asking to make, change we're looking to make. It's on the personal time, the paid time off, the PTO dates. We scaled down the ability to float days, and we only allowed 2 days that could be floated. They were originally Columbus Day and President's Day. Those are days that are Mondays, those holidays. And the ability to float makes a lot more sense on 2 holidays that can be on any day of the week, Lincoln's birthday or Veterans Day. So it makes a lot more sense, rather than like we had this year, we were not allowed to float those days, so we were off on a random Wednesday or a Thursday in the middle of the week. I'm suggesting that those dates we be the only ones that we can float, and we could then maybe take a day on a Monday or Friday, and it'd be consecutive with a weekend, and these days, and then we just work the full week. So this Lincoln's birthday and Veterans Day, again, they can be on any work day. I'm suggesting that we replace Columbus Day and President's Day with those 2 as the only 2 days that we can float within the same calendar year.
So we have a recommendation from Bill. Any comments by committee members? Yes, sir.
In the text to your bill, it says may work on 2 of the following holidays, Lincoln's birthday or Veterans Day. Should that be And/or,
I think you're right. Would you agree, Rudy?
Yes, that's,
And/or,
That's
okay, we'll
more
make that
accurate.
change.
Thanks, Jeff.
Great.
Yep.
Did you have anything else?
nope,
Okay.
The only thing I just want to talk about, I mean, it's the same amount, we're not adding days.
Not at all.
It's the same amount.
We're
of days. It's just-
substituting
correct.
2 for
That's a
2.
question.
And I just want to make sure that was clear, and then I have no issue with it.
Giovanni, did you have anything?
Nope, good with me.
Okay. Lee?
Can you explain this floating policy again, Lee?
It's just that if.
I understand that Lincoln's birthday and Veterans Day can be obviously whatever the calendar is.
It just allows you within the same calendar year, and you can only do it with these 2 days. You could work, say, have Monday off and work on Thursday of Veterans Day.
Oh, I got you.
It just allows you to kind of put it up against a weekend or a vacation, whatever it might be.
Okay.
Because right now we're not able to float that, so we have to be off on a given Wednesday.
So you could choose to be off on the Monday before or after, but you work that midweek day.
Even more flexibility
yes, anytime during the year, I
during the
think,
year.
right?
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
something they can kind of save it, but it has to be used in that same year.
Oh, okay, anytime.
So is it as simple as just saying that there's 2 float days that can be used anytime within the calendar year and disconnected from any holidays?
Yes.
So why don't we do that? Make it less restrictive.
Any 2?
If we say you have 2 floats, right? You get 2 days that
Yeah.
you can float.
Right,
Float it whatever. Why is it tied to another set of holidays?
right. Because if you can use it at any time, like you just
Right.
explained.
But then you have to work on Lincoln's or Veterans Day. You're normally off that day, but you're gonna take a different day off, so you'd have to work on those holidays.
So.
And I was looking for the sake of continuity of the office as well, that you
Yeah.
don't have, you're not kind of broken up in the middle of the week.
But everybody could choose to be off.
They could. They could. You're right.
the one thing is, some of the major holidays, nobody else works. Where on Lincoln's and Veterans Day,
Yeah.
there's
Says
a
Lincoln.
portion of the.
Yeah, Lincoln's is in with President's Weekend.
Yeah,
So there
yeah.
isn't any real Lincoln's
Exactly.
holiday anymore.
So I kinda like limiting it to those 2 days.
Because the others are Mondays for the most part, and people do tend to take them, so.
Yeah, well,
And Christmas,
government
New Year's.
has moved them to be convenience days,
Right.
unfortunately, not the real holiday.
Right,
Exactly.
exactly. So I guess we have a question. Should we connect it to the holidays, or should we just say you have 2 float days and float them wherever you want?
I'm open to what you're,
I mean,
The
do we
committee
Because that's what
consider-
you're really doing.
Yeah, I mean, is Lincoln's really a holiday for us?
it is.
Why?
We went through this list last year when we revised the
Was I
policy.
here?
It is a county holiday.
Yeah, that's why, we model
It's a
after the
county
county.
Oh,
holiday.
I know,
Yeah.
I know Orange County employees and Rockland County employees are off
Yeah.
on Lincoln's birthday.
And then we had Juneteenth that was added, and we've removed one of them, I can't remember, we kind of swapped one out for that.
Okay.
I think that was like Columbus Day or something.
Yeah, but we get Columbus Day still, I was thinking the same thing, but yeah.
Okay, but we specifically decided and said, we're not related to the county. We don't get county retirement
No.
in time. So what's the thing about saying, well, guess what, we need to have county holidays?
We don't, which is how we modeled it, and then that evolved to the revised policy last year.
Mhm. And I wasn't here for that.
No.
You know, I'm just
No.
thinking,
Yeah,
like you're thinking, it's kind of.
I like more flexibility. I mean, there's holidays that are real, I don't wanna say they're fake holidays that got moved, but they got moved for the convenience of making a long weekend for everyone,
Correct,
so.
exactly.
That's wonderful. So the other holidays, if we're actually gonna recognize them as holidays, why bother? Just say 2 days within the calendar year with the approval of the CEO.
Kelly seconds your
You
motion.
second my motion? She likes it.
I mean, honestly, my
That's fine.
opinion is Veterans Day is one of the most important days as a holiday. So you should be off no matter what, okay?
Well, that's
If we choose to be flexible, that's okay. But in my opinion, everybody should have off on Veterans Day because it's that important of a day, just like Election Day.
It's wonderful, but that's, most places don't have, my
So-
740 employees never got Veterans Day off, unfortunately.
No, I would agree with that as
Yeah.
well, but unfortunately, that's really
That's not the
case.
system, right?
That's really not the case, so, and if Bill had, if there was a project due or whatever, then maybe that gives them the flexibility to finish something up, and then, unfortunately, they have to work that day as opposed to not, and then we can take another day, I guess.
Yeah, so it's flexibility, it's fine.
Yeah, ours is not to tell you how to manage time off, ours is
Mhm.
just to set parameters around time off. Is there anything that we would be doing if we said take those 2 holidays, cause they're not recognized by us, even though they're county holidays, and we're replacing them with 2 paid time off days to be used within a calendar year. Are we allowed to do that?
And just rewrite it and bring it back next month?
I don't see any problem with that. I was just looking to see if the policy already had a list of the holidays that the office is closed. I don't know if it says Lincoln's birthday and Veterans Day now, but
It does.
you can say people can elect to choose any 2 holidays and take them out at a different time.
Alright, so.
Within the same calendar year.
Alright, so I would respectfully request that we get that policy back with a listing of all the holidays that are in there, circulate it back to the committee again, and let's bring this up next month.
Okay.
Or next time we meet.
Yeah,
You got Martin
exactly.
Luther King Day. You got
Okay.
Veterans Day.
Yeah, we just need to figure out all of them and just work through it again.
No problem.
Okay, that takes care of that, sorry.
Terrific, no problem at all, it's great.
Alright, and then you have, DOL job listing.
Yes, so I presented to Orange County's Workforce Development Board, run by Steve Knob, our Department of Employment and Training Director. And he had a number of stakeholders in the workforce space that were there, and a couple of representatives from the Department of Labor. And they made a suggestion that we make a requirement of all closings on incentives, that any new, here's how they suggested it. Any new employment opportunities created as a result of the project should be listed with the New York State Department of Labor Community Services Division. That's actually how this is the request that they made, and then in talking to council about it, Rudy clarified the fact that in our new lease agreements, leaseback agreements for, say, pilots and such, that their language already exists in there where it is requiring that you list the jobs with the Department of Labor. That's what they're looking for, is that, hey, you need to go through the local, labor listings in order to be able to put local jobs out there, that if you're making them available. So Rudy pointed out that all the agreements that he's been working on with the projects we're trying to close with right now, that language exists. What the only change was suggested is, right now it says in our closing documents that the opportunities created as a result of the project shall be listed with the New York State Department of Labor Community Services Division. And the DOL, Rudy suggested I run that language by them to make sure they were fine with it, and they were very appreciative, and they said their only suggested change would be that it says any reference to DOL should be New York State Department of Labor Office of Workforce Development. They don't have a Community Services Division any longer, so they're asking for that. So really, I just wanted to run that by you and do that little tweak in the language. Make sure you're okay with that, and we will change that in our closing documents, and we will be in compliance with what they're requesting in terms of DOL listing on our.
There's not a specific policy that sits somewhere about this, is there?
No, the
Okay.
only other document we would reference is the application. I was just kind of asking Rudy before we started if we think we should put anything in the application for that. But otherwise, it is in the closing documents where it's required for the project before they receive the incentives. They
Okay.
have to commit to it.
So-
Rudy, what do you think about the application, pardon me?
You gotta update the language, because it is in your application. DOL, so just do the new DOL agency,
The
since
agency.
they've done away with their community service, and now call it workforce development. But it is in your app.
I just also want to point out that the lease agreement says that they have to list any new jobs, not only with the New York State Department of Labor, but with the federal version of that entity also. You have to list it on both boards.
Okay, so if we do that for leasing, we don't have to do that for other agreements that we have that are not.
Good question.
Every project, I believe every project is a lease from the applicant to the IDA, and then a lease back to the applicant, and that's the main document that sets forth all the representations that the applicant has to abide by in order to not be in default and to receive the benefits.
So that's for any incentive.
Even like sales tax exemption only.
there would still be a lease-back agreement. If it was a pilot, if it was a sales tax, if it was a mortgage, if it was all three, if it was only one of them, it's always a lease-back agreement.
So then, is it good business to list them both, the federal and the state? I mean, is, to be consistent?
It's in the application, I mean, it's in the lease agreement.
So it
I
should,
will review the application to see that it comports with the agreement. the lease
okay,
agreement.
I like to be consistent, so if it's
Absolutely.
one place, it should be in all places. Does that make any sense to you, Brian?
Yeah, and I think now NYS DOL and US DOL are now sharing the same. You can clarify it, but you can add that they gotta do both of them. And I think that was corrected years ago, that they now share, they upload all the state jobs regionally and then up to US DOL. But on the app, we just say DOL and it has the
So,
old.
instead of approving this today, we're going to wait for you to look at the lease agreement, correct? We're gonna look at whatever we're gonna look
We
at.
do that in between and we bring it back and we get,
Well,
Or we
the
can make
lease
it,
agreements, we've already changed it to the department that
New York State
New
Department of
York
Labor.
State told Bill that they wanted.
Correct.
Workforce.
So, the lease agreement is current now, but we just have to, update the application to,
And I'm saying, should we update the application and the lease agreement to reflect the federal part of the New York State Department of Labor, the Federal Department of Labor?
we could do research on that to see
If it's.
what the proper entity is on the federal level.
Because if we don't have to, then we don't have to, and we can leave it the way it is and vote on it today, and do what we need to do to make the application and all the other pieces that go with it to be consistent. If we don't have to put the federal piece in there, then we don't have to put it in. If we have to put it in, then we have to put it in. I guess the question is, do we have to put it in?
Well, even if we don't have to put it in, is it a good idea to just put it in anyway?
I mean, I guess in theory, it doesn't hurt to list both of them. Or on breakout, I can call DOL and ask that question if they've merged the two together. But we have to just change, I think everybody would agree, the lease documents and the app, the language should be
Yes.
the same. We gotta update the app
Correct.
to match what Rudy has right
Correct.
there, probably makes sense.
So we can do it in two steps. We certainly could approve that, since that looks to be much more time sensitive, to ensure that we're consistent with the application as well as the other documentation to reflect the New York State Department of Labor and not the community resource, whatever we had. And then if you come back, at the next meeting, whatever that will be, and suggest that we reference the Federal Department of Labor, then we could always add that in. Does that make sense?
Yes. Just to clarify, the lease agreement now says you have to list all your jobs with the federal agency and the New York State Department of Labor. It said New York State Department of Labor Office of Community
Right,
Development.
which is wrong.
Yeah.
And now we'll fix that. I don't have the agreement in front of me. I don't know what the exact entity name is for the federal agency that is cited. But it already does
It's already there.
have
It's already there.
federal and state,
Okay,
and I can just verify
so the only
that
thing
the
we,
proper federal entity is now.
so the only thing that needs to be changed really is the New York State Department of Labor Workforce Development as opposed to the Community Resources.
Correct.
Okay. Any-
Language.
To make it
Yes.
easy, if Rudy and I can make a phone call when we end here, you may have that answer for your board meeting at 5. I can call DOL, if that's helpful, so you're not kicking it a month.
Can we
if
bring it
that's-
directly to the board and not have it here, or can we make it a motion pending, your conversations with the Department of Health? I'm trying to figure out how to get this out of committee into the board.
You could just make a recommendation to revise the lease agreement and the application to reflect the appropriate New York State and federal
Right.
labor departments.
So it's basically to reflect the proper naming of the departments.
Yes. And to revise the application to make sure that it comports.
Got it. Okay, so we can do that without Do you have to make a motion here to do that? We'll make a motion. It's good.
Yes.
Okay. Can we get a motion to bring out of this committee to recommend to the board that the lease and the application need to reflect the proper naming of the Department of Labor, as both federal and state?
Motion.
Motion. Second.
I'll second.
Thank you very much. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're good. All in favor, say aye. We said that, yes. Okay. We have to go to old business now, the recapture
Yes.
policy.
Yeah, I just want to go back to recapture. We've been talking about a few of them, Allant and Crystal Run Healthcare. We actually, Rudy and I had a meeting with Crystal Run Healthcare on Monday, where they came in, a few of their representatives, and they just wanted to continue to clarify their position and their job reporting for the most part. We are all on the same page, and what I had said to this committee, for their Monroe location, that they had originally committed to 452 jobs, and by the time that they actually signed an executed lease agreement, that number was revised to 220. So the numbers on their results, obviously comparatively, are much different. They did, and I've shared this before, and I still have copies if anyone wants anything further, but for Crystal Run 3, they had created 159 jobs, then that number wavered. What their last reporting for the Monroe location is 142 people in person in Monroe. But one of the other things in their examination of all these figures across their whole network is that they identified 244 employees that live in Orange County who work remotely. Problem is they kind of serve the whole network, in some cases more, one more than other.
Rockland County,
Exactly.
they could be any place.
So they asked us if we had a methodology as to how to compute or disperse those remote employees, and we kind of put it back on them and said, based upon how your network works, how, what employees' responsibilities are, where they're allocated, you tell us,
Yeah.
because it would be helpful. But again, across, a handful of locations, another 244 employees rooted in Orange County, which certainly indicates a lot of change and shift in the industry since COVID, in the world since COVID. So that was not something that a lot of changes, they did enumerate a number of different challenges and reductions in trying to attract doctors, a number of other factors that have affected employment there. But again, there are 142 in person, and between that and a few other locations, 2 in Middletown, 1 in Newburgh, they have another 244 remote employees. So we're waiting for them to get back to us on how they would allocate those across those locations and a justification for how they choose to allocate. But all of Orange County, they have more than 1,900 employees with an average pay of $72,500. And another stat they threw at us was that over the next 10 years, they anticipate $2.5 billion in economic activity from that employment.
That's all lovely. However, they said they were gonna do something, and they didn't do it. So if they've got these remote people working, they've gotta have at least 75%, in my opinion, that they were assigned to that location. Not the one in Newburgh, not the one in Middletown, but the one that we help them get the money for. And if they can't substantiate that to bring that number up to the 244, or whatever the number is, then we have to have another conversation, because that's just not what they said in their application. And I get it, I used to work in healthcare, so I get it.
If I may,
This is the other side of it. Please, go ahead, Rudy.
there were 3 different projects that we discussed on Monday.
Okay.
I have trouble remembering which location they are, but they're Crystal Run 3, 6, and 8
That's-
is how they're referred to in our closing documents.
3 is Monroe, I believe.
Yep, 6 is Newburgh, and 8 is the Town of Walka Administrative Facility.
So, all 3 of those projects had been flagged as being short on the jobs that they originally listed in their application. Crystal Run 3, earlier this year, we already took action and terminated their project and put them back on the tax rolls for their property taxes. Their tax agreement only had one more payment left on it, the school tax payment in September of '26. And they were supposed to get a 10% abatement on that payment, and now it's at full taxes.
We have confirmation that they've been billed that, right?
Yes.
Full, yeah.
Yes,
Okay, so,
The-
so essentially number 3 is closed.
correct.
Okay, so we don't have to talk about anything.
Numbers 6,
So Newburgh, let's go Newburgh, not Walk Hill.
Yep.
Because that's a clinical facility.
is that 6 or 8?
That is 6.
6, I believe, the pilot expired in '23. Do you-
Correct. And their goal was 500, if I could just add for that. Wait, 3? Yeah, 6. And they had 502 staff, then 480. The last they reported was 462, and then 421. So they were within 10% the entire time.
But this is closed. The pilot's
It is
done.
also closed.
So
yes.
there's nothing we need to do with that.
Yeah, but I just wanna let you know what the results were
And-
too, so.
Likewise, Crystal Run 8 expired in 2025.
Okay. So essentially we don't have any teeth,
Correct,
because it's done.
correct.
So it's done. I don't know whether you need to talk to them anymore about this. It's over.
We
Right.
took action on the one that was still open, we terminated it, and it's affecting their school tax
They're
payment.
110, by 10%.
Yes.
Okay.
Rudy, you don't know, what were the length of the terms of those? Do you remember what they were or not? Yeah, I'm just curious.
I don't know, I believe they were 10 years.
Okay.
I think all of them.
Because I'm just trying to think, like, the Newburgh facility, I mean, that was finished in like that, it's not even that old, the facility, so.
I think they were
Just
all
trying to
from
figure out.
2013 to 2015.
I think the problem that it's very hard to forecast, you've got Middletown Medical has come to Newburgh, so now they're competing. You've got, it's hard, you can have grandiose ideas about how many people you're gonna hire, but when the competition starts to stiffen, especially in healthcare, you're gonna have much more difficulty in recruitment and retention. But I'd rather not put our efforts into things that we can't do anything about.
I agree.
What I do think we should do is more often, whether it's once a year, twice a year, look at all of the open things where we do have some leverage.
Yep.
And see where we are and on their numbers and see if there's something, I don't wanna beat them over the head the first time, but we don't wait till the end.
Yep.
So whatever that frequency needs to be.
I'm gonna start doing an annual report. It's on my calendar for next week, which is based upon the Paris reporting.
Okay.
And where does everyone stand, and then what, kind of an analysis of each project, where they stand, all their commitments. And then something that I present to the board, and then this committee discusses anything that needs to be addressed
As-
as a result.
The only other thing is, and also like,
What did I
for
call
the
that?
specific timeframes, correct, Bill? I mean,
Annual
they had
assessment.
said- We also talked about like timeframes, like throughout the year or however it's written in their lease agreements, whether it's, they were saying at the end of the year, because it was, the winter, there was less people there, but there was more people, so how do we say this is the amount? Do we count them partially or not, or what, I don't know. If they only work 6 months out of the year, I don't know how that all reads, but like those are the types of things, we saw that as well, correct?
Right,
Where they,
yep.
at the end of the year, they said there was X amount of employees, but throughout the year, there was additional people.
Well, we could, I don't know, can you take an average? If you got a total number of employees divided by the 12 months, on average, these remember your FTE equivalents.
Yeah, well,
FTE equivalents are really tough to manage.
It's a snapshot, that's the challenge also,
Correct.
so, and what we're asking is in December, and in some cases, we've talked about the hotels, it's their worst, time for the.
That's what I'm
for
saying,
figures.
can we do something, it depends on the business, they're all kind of cyclical. Can you, when I was reporting numbers, we would do average FTE equivalents based on how many people do we have employed over the course of a year, divided by 12, and then I knew what was the FTE equivalent, so there's gotta be a way, we could figure out, and we weren't all that smart about in healthcare, we didn't treat a patient, but not to do that other stuff.
Sounds like there was a way, the way
There
you're
is.
describing it, so.
You can't tell a person how to run their business, but when you have all these people all over the place, they should have a home base.
Absolutely.
A desk that they can go to, and a desk that they should report to once or twice a week, and,
And
that
they know where
shows,
it is because you
Yes.
log into your computer
Yeah.
and somebody, an administrator knows
that
where
shows
you are.
where their base is, where they work, and yeah, you can, 1 or 2 days a week, work remotely the rest of the hours.
But I don't think we can dictate. We
I don't
can't
know, I'm
dictate
just,
that,
we
right?
can't dictate that, but you would think they would wanna show where their people are working because
So-
of these.
We understand that there's new parameters that are affecting FTEs, right? We know that. COVID came, trying to figure out how COVID affected everybody, it's a long-term change. Maybe we just need to relook at how we ask people to forecast. How many new employees do you think you're gonna get? And maybe we can redefine those, or how many of those are gonna be on site? How many are gonna be remote? On the remote, what percentage of their time is gonna be devoted to the site? So maybe they're gonna have to do a little better forecasting instead of just gross numbers, but maybe we need to just relook at that.
I wonder if on our employment projection table that's in the application, if it needs a remote section as well, if it needs a line item for that, you know,
So
so that
perhaps-
we do have a
I
better
think
sense.
we
We
do
don't
have
wanna-
to factor that in.
Yeah.
We don't wanna penalize an employer for not being able to report appropriately, but we certainly wanna make them accountable for whatever they said they were gonna do.
And have enough boxes for them to fill accurately.
What's one more box, or two?
Yeah, but you're accurate.
Yes,
Okay,
does that make sense?
yeah, definitely does.
So we have nothing that needs to really come out of committee for right now.
No, for next meeting we do.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so we have, old business has been completed. Is there anything else that needs to come before this body? Nope.
No, madam.
I will accept a motion to adjourn. First, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.